Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at something pretty huge happening right now.
A real economic shakeup.
Exactly. Specifically in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Our mission today is to really get into how one single piece of legislation,
Texas Senate Bill 840.
and it's SB840, right, it is basically creating this whole new economic group, the maker class. But to really get why this law is so important, you have to look at the perfect storm that created it. There were three crises all hitting at once. First, you've got this ghost building phenomena. I mean, the numbers are just wild. Office vacancy across DFW is sitting at 25%.
It's even worse if you zoom in on the Dallas Central Business District. We're talking 33.0% of buildings are just
Empty.
Just empty, basically stranded assets.
And at the very same time, you have this massive housing shortage. SB840 was, it was written specifically to deal with a deficit of something like 320,000 homes.
So too many offices, not nearly enough homes. And then the third piece is about people, the labor market. Yeah, the credential inflation problem. The cost of a traditional four-year degree just isn't paying off for a lot of people. The data for DFW shows that, over 40% of recent college graduates are underemployed.
Wow.
The traditional path is financially broken for a huge chunk of the population.
So, okay, that's the problem. And SB840 is the solution, or maybe not just a solution, it's more like a state-mandated pivot, right?
Oh, it's definitely a mandate. It's a very, very powerful bill. It applies to all the big open centers, Dallas, Fort Worth, Plano, Frisco.
And how does it work? What are the actual legal teeth here?
The core idea is actually pretty simple. It takes power away from the municipalities.
It removes local control.
Completely. It says cities must allow developers to build mixed-use and multifamily projects in those old commercial zones. By right.
All right. So no more endless public hearings, no more local councils shooting projects down.
None.
Yeah.
If your project meets the criteria, you build. It just slices through all of that red tape.
But, taking away that local voice seems like a really big step. How do they keep it from just becoming a free-for-all for developers?
Well, that's where the specificity comes in. It's not for just any project. There are rules.
Okay.
To qualify, a project has to dedicate at least 65% of its space to residential use.
So housing is the main goal.
It's the priority, but here's the clever part. The other 35% is specifically reserved for those maker spaces, the workshops, the studios, the little micro retail spots for craftsmen.
So it's not just about building apartments, it's about building a whole productive ecosystem right inside the building.
Precisely. They even got into the weeds on things like parking, restricting cities from requiring more than one space per unit.
Okay, so you have the space, that 35%, but you need the people to fill it. You need the makers.
Yeah.
And this connects right back to that credential inflation problem, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's a direct challenge to the idea that a four-year degree is the only path forward. The return on investment for some of these vocational skills is it's undeniable.
Give me an example from right there in DFW.
Okay, so look at Dallas College. They have a program for diagnostic medical sonography. It costs about $2,400 a year.
Right.
Within 12 months of completion, the median salary is over $83,000.
That is incredible. For the price of a couple of high-end textbooks, you're buying a solid, well-paying career.
You are. It's the skill stack model really coming into its own. It's about what you can do, not the piece of paper you have.
And for this to actually happen, the money has to work. Developers need an incentive. What are the financial drivers making these conversions profitable?
There are two big ones, two policies that really poured gasoline on this fire.
Okay.
First was federal, the OBBBA. It permanently brought back a 100% bonus depreciation for these kinds of renovations.
Which means?
It means a developer can write off the entire cost of renovating that old office tower in the very first year.
Instead of spreading it out over decades.
Exactly. It just de-risks the whole project instantly. And the second piece is local. Proposition 9 from last November. It eliminates property taxes on the first $125,000 of a small business's tools and equipment.
So that's aimed directly at the makers themselves.
That's right. It lowers the barrier to entry for them to set up shop.
So you put it all together, the law, the workforce, the tax breaks. What's the prediction? What does the DFW economy look like in 10 years?
We're seeing the emergence of what's being called the barbell economy.
A barbell. Okay, explain that metaphor.
So on one end of the barbell, you have a high-end remote elite living in these nice new lofts, global salaries, Texas taxes.
Right, the knowledge workers.
And on the other heavy end of the barbell, you have this massive foundational maker class, the tradespeople, the craftspeople who actually own the infrastructure of production.
And the middle of the barbell is thin.
The middle gets hollowed out. The generic degree-required office job that can be automated, that's the part that's disappearing.
So DFW is actively dismantling the 20th century urban model. It's a landscape that rewards demonstrable skill.
It's a huge shift, and it leaves us with a really important question for you, the listener, to think about. You know, SB840 removes the legal barriers, but the physical ones, they're still there. Expert analysis suggests that only about 7 to 10% of these old office buildings are even technically feasible for conversion.
Why so few?
It's things like the floor plates being too deep, meaning you'd get apartments with no windows, or the core mechanical and plumbing systems are just impossible to retrofit for residential.
So the final thought is?
The question is, will this maker renaissance be structurally limited by concrete and steel? Despite the law, will there simply not be enough convertible ghost buildings to realize this vision at scale?